In an era when celebrity romance is currency and every whisper becomes a headline, few pairings could ignite the tabloids like the one now unfolding between global pop sensation Katy Perry and rising statesman Jason Truitt. What began as a seemingly innocuous meeting at a private cultural summit has metastasized into a scandal rattling diplomatic salons, beauty brand boardrooms, and the comment sections of the world. The story reads like a script written by Gossip Row's most fevered imaginations: secret dinners on embassy rooftops, cryptic late-night social posts, and insiders who insist there's far more happening behind the velvet ropes than either party will admit. This is not a love story in the old Hollywood sense. It is drama with multiple payoffs, political implications, media frenzy, and a machine that feeds on contradiction. The surface narrative is simple. Katy Perry, the platinum-selling artist and global pop icon, crossed paths with Jason Truitt, a charismatic and controversial parliamentarian whose meteoric rise has made him both a darling of reformists and the target of conservative ire. But as with all good scandals, the truth is slippery and the subplots are many. It all started, insiders say, at an elegant reception hosted in a converted manor house during an international arts forum. Guests recall Katy arriving in a tailored, shimmering coat that flashed under the chandeliers. Jason, insistently photographed across town, slipped in through a side entrance. They were introduced by an intermediary, a mutual friend with one foot in politics and another in entertainment. And what was supposed to be a brief exchange reportedly stretched for the better part of the evening. Two sources who were present described the scene in similar terms: laughter, locked eyes, and a chemistry that was both immediate and unsettling to nearby guests. The first public evidence of a relationship came not from either party, but from sharp-eyed onlookers. A photograph taken by a diplomatic photographer and quietly circulated at the time. A grainy capture of Katy and Jason in a huddle near an antique fireplace, resurfaced days later after an aide accidentally sent it to the artist's management group. Within 24 hours, the image spread across social platforms with a ferocity that surprised even veteran publicists. Fans on both sides declared the meeting a moment of destiny. Critics latched on to what they called a troubling entanglement between glamour and governance. Those critics were only warming up. The next round of speculation began when Katy posted a seemingly innocuous image to her private account: a candlelit table, 2 wine glasses, and a single anonymous bouquet. The caption read simply, "An evening to remember." Comments flooded in: heart emojis, conspiracy theories, and outrage from those who saw the image as evidence of an intimate connection with a politician. A week later, Jason posted a blurred nighttime shot from the same city, the skyline behind him, a caption that read, "Unexpected evenings change everything." The juxtaposition was enough to set off 1,000 think pieces. From a PR perspective, both camps moved fast. Katy's team released a statement insisting that the meeting had been entirely professional, a brief convergence of art and public policy, while Jason's office described their interaction as a dialogue on cultural diplomacy. But the denials did not stop the rumor engine. In cramped group chats and late-night talk shows, theories multiplied. Was Katy merely an art patron, a soft power recruiter? Or was there, as some tabloids hinted, a clandestine romance that could destabilize political coalitions? Political analysts, always hungry for drama, began to sketch out possible consequences. Jason operates in a fragile coalition where optics matter. A relationship with a global celebrity could bolster his profile abroad, but it could also alienate a conservative base that distrusts perceived cosmopolitan excess. For Katy, whose cosmetics lines, Las Vegas residencies, and global touring apparatus depend on a carefully curated image, the stakes were no less severe. Brand partnerships, sponsorship deals, and festival bookings could all be affected if the narrative turned sour. The intrigue deepened when a leaked memo allegedly from Jason's advisors suggested he was being urged to tone down public appearances with the singer. Whether the memo truly exists is unknown, but its circulation was enough to convince the internet that cracks were forming behind the scenes. Katy, for her part, was painted in some corners as a disruptive influence, the archetypal glamorous outsider who unsettles the machinery of power. Tabloids seized the angle with relish. Headlines implied clandestine rendezvous in embassies, whispered deals struck over champagne, and even suggested that secret meetings had been held at private art patrons' estates. Photographers staked out hotels and consulates. Social media accounts published alleged flight manifests and pointed out that Katy had extended a previously scheduled stay by 2 days. The pop star, long accustomed to media scrutiny, now found herself under a new kind of spotlight, the political kind. At the heart of the scandal is a recurring theme: control. Who controls the narrative? Who benefits from the association? For Katy, there was a risk that her perceived neutrality, her brand's carefully honed image, might be reframed as partisan, potentially alienating a global audience. For Jason, the calculus was equally fraught. A celebrity association could turn his campaign into a spectacle rather than a policy platform. When image eclipses substance, the voters often recoil. Meanwhile, voices within both camps tried to inject calm. Friends of Katy insisted she is a private person by preference, someone who values real connection. Jason's allies argued that cultural partnerships are part of his role, but moderation rarely thrives in scandal. The story grew tentacles. A political rival seized the moment to accuse Jason of poor judgment and demanded full transparency. Pundits suggested Katy's commercial interests could influence diplomatic positions. Rival beauty brands quietly adjusted campaigns to distance themselves from potential fallout. The crescendo came with the release of a leaked audio clip that set the internet ablaze. The heavily edited recording, published by a gossip outlet, purported to capture a late-night conversation between Katy and an unnamed official joking about moving pieces and the wonderful chaos of influence. Its timing suggested orchestration. Authentic or not, it became a viral artifact, replayed and remixed millions of times. Reactions split instantly. Fans defended Katy, citing her philanthropy and artistry. Jason's supporters dismissed the leak as a smear campaign. Neutral observers, meanwhile, were captivated by the drama itself. A pop star and a politician caught in a storm that seemed bigger than both of them. This is not a scandal about proven misconduct. It's a scandal of perception, built on slivers of fact, speculation, and an algorithm hungry for intrigue. In a digital world where narratives often matter more than evidence, this story has become a wildfire. And like all wildfires, it spreads fastest in dry conditions, when fame and power collide. For Katy Perry and Jason Truitt, the next moves will be decisive. Her team has already lined up charity appearances and music teasers to shift attention back to her artistry. His team has promised radical transparency, but whether these efforts will be enough to tame the spectacle is uncertain. Scandal, once unleashed, rarely obeys the plans of those at its center. If history is any guide, the public may soon find a new obsession. But for now, the Katy Perry-Jason Truitt saga has captured the world's attention, a perfect storm of celebrity, politics, and perception. The only question left is whether they can reclaim the narrative before it consumes them.